Now, join me welcome Moses Mauku, who is the General Secretary Uganda Hotels, Foods, Tourism, Supermarkets and Allied Workers, but he is also the Treasurer General of the National Organization of Trade Unions. Moses, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Brother Chiravo. I also take occasion to salute all Ugandans, and especially the viewers and the workers that toil to make a living or to earn a living and also grow and develop Uganda as an economy.
Moses, first let's begin by understanding when you talk about Uganda Hotels, Foods, Tourism, Supermarket and Allied Workers, there you are a General Secretary.
Yes,
now,
please.
there is also the National Organization of Trade Unions, and I think, of course, the UHFTS belongs there. So let's look at what is NOTU, what is their responsibility and mandate, where they are. You're a big person as well.
Well, NOTU and its affiliates. NOTU is an umbrella organization, a workers' organization that coordinates the affairs, the functions of the national unions as an umbrella organization. But a workers' organization generally is that organization which is voluntary in nature, representative in nature, independent, which is formed, managed and financed by workers themselves for the purposes of advancing, advocating, promoting, protecting and defending the workers' social and economic interests through what we call collective bargaining. And that is done through the legal frameworks, either nationally or internationally. So the workers' organizations are organized according to trades or sectors, and that is why we are referred to as trade unions, because different trades organize different workers. Just that is what is defined as actually the different names of the different unions that we have in Uganda. The teachers have their own unions in their own sector. We have the national teachers for government teachers, then the private teachers, but even in the government setting, there have been subdivisions.
The science
teachers, arts teachers, liberal teachers, non-teaching staff, the various. So we as workers are organized on the lines of trade, and we function and according to the Labor Unions Act, and our operations are guided by that law, but we also exist as a result of the provisions of the National Constitution, especially Article 29 and 40, that provide for the existence of trade unions in Uganda. And it also emanates from the international labor standards that provide for freedom of association and the freedom to collective bargaining as one of the core conventions by the International Labour Organization.
Okay. Now that was said, and now I think our viewer really fits into the discussion very properly, knowing what the National Organization of Trade Unions does, not to. Now, we are looking at promoting, that is, safety at workplaces. Moses, first and foremost, in this country, and say to a number of countries, we have high levels of unemployment. Do you think really safety of workers' rights, holds water, holds meaning, where people are ready to take on anything as long as it can give them something?
Safety of workers is a very critical aspect, and it should be taken seriously by any employer, any government, and any employee. It is a multifaceted approach that is required to approach issues of safety at work, because everybody who works must first have life. Safety of one's life is the most important aspect in employment, because if you are sick, you won't work. If you are dead, you won't work. So it is important to control and promote issues of health and safety at the workplace. Probably if I can offer or explain what health refers to. Health in the employment or workplace is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, but not merely absence of disease or infirmity. For one to be healthy, you must be completely physically, mentally, and all social well-being. And the other is that occupational safety and health deals with aspects of health and safety in the workplace and has a strong focus on primarily prevention of hazards. Because what affects one's health or life are the hazards that we meet or we interact with in the work environment. But it's also important for us to understand that occupational safety is a multiplicity of fields in the healthcare, which is mainly concerned with enabling an individual to undertake his or her occupation in a manner or way that causes least harm to his health or his body or her body. So under the circumstances, I also want to explain that when we are working, even here where we are, there are hazards that we interface with. And those hazards are presented or categorized in 6 different forms.
Okay.
The categories of hazards that we meet in the work environment. Some of them are physical hazards, where you can have things to do with automobiles, things that, objects or things that can cause harm or accident to a worker. You have automobiles, that is vehicles, motorcycles, bicycles, and all the likes. You have things like fire. You have flora and fauna for those people who work in the national parks. You have machines. You have noise, vibration, light, electricity, and many things that are physical that you interface with in the work environment. But we also have chemical hazards that also affect or can cause injury or can affect your health or even life. And among the chemical hazards, you have liquids, gases, dust, fumes, and all vapors. There are very many liquids. Even water kills. Even when you drop into a swimming pool and you don't know how to swim, you will die. But while working, you may not think that is a big hazard. But people die in swimming pools or even in lakes and water bodies. But we also have the third one, which is ergonomics. Ergonomics in the workplace. This refers to poor designs in the working environment. It can be poor design of the equipment that you use as a tool to work. It can also be workplace design by posture. It can also be manual handling and repetitive movements. If you are a typist, I remember when I was young, I had an aunt who was a secretary, but her fingers were bent because she was all the time on that typewriter. You remember the typewriters of the old ages, leave alone the computers we have today. Some people, because of the repetitive nature of their work, you end up having your fingers or parts of your body get assimilated too much into what you do, and you become almost lame. So those are some of the things that arise out of ergonomics. And then we have radiation. Does your work environment subject you to excess heat, ultraviolet rays, like people who are working in X-ray rooms? And you know those X-rays are very dangerous. Even when they are treating or subjecting somebody to an X-ray, they will chase everybody. Then they put a piece of wood. But there is somebody who is administering that X-ray, and they are subjecting themselves to the X-rays all the time for even 20, 30 years. So if it can affect you in minutes. How about the person who is doing it for years? So those are things that are related to radiation, and we also have psychological hazards. Those are some of the things that you are trying to hint, the examples you are trying to hint about. Drug abuse, sexual harassment, gender-based violence. All these things are psychological. You have, like in the hospitality industry, there are customers that are very aggressive. So employees suffer customer aggression. She sees a customer coming and that man is going to shout at me. So all these things are categorized under psychological, but lastly also have biological hazards. Viruses, actually, COVID-19 was a biological hazard at the workplace because it is a virus. We have very many examples of biological hazards that include infections that are caused either by bacteria, viruses, and allergies, and mention them. So all these things affect a human being, even in the work environment. And it is important for the tripartite partners, government, employers, and the workers' organization, to focus on issues on how to control occupational safety and health issues.
Now, having taken us through the various forms, the physical, the biological, the
chemical,
psychological. Now, let's look at, you talked about the tripartite approach to this. First, the employees themselves, in terms of awareness, to demand for this to be in place. How aware are Ugandans in the working arena of this as a right that they should be having, or something that they know they should be protected at? I visit a number of flower farms. And when I look at the people there, you know, when you're moving in flowers, there's even that chemical scent you feel.
Yep.
At a certain season, before they're ready for the market, and they have that lovely scent. Now, you feel you want to mask even yourself, but someone tells you, fetwa bimanyira.
That is the saying.
You know, when you look at people working in some factories, you want to, you tell them, but for us, even when you're just riding, you have helmets. You know, look at these building sites. Move around Kampala. Men are supposed to have that, it's not a helmet,
protective gear, yeah.
Protective gear in case someone falls off. They're supposed to have these clippers, you know. But someone just tells you, for us, we are experienced. Now, awareness, because you can only demand for what you know. What has been your assessment levels?
Well, generally, one of the biggest problems we have in this country is ignorance, or less or inadequate awareness of the existing legal framework. Uganda, as a country or government, they always undertake their function in this aspect of occupational safety and health. We have 2 acts of parliament, and that are also derived from the provisions or the articles of the National Constitution on occupational safety and health. We have the two acts of parliament. One is the preventive law. That is the Occupational Safety and Health Act, Cap 231. It is a preventive law on occupational safety and health. But we also have Workers' Compensation Act, Cap 233. That is a remedial law. Occupational Safety and Health Act is a law that provides for how to prevent and control occupational hazards, occupational accidents, occupational diseases. But in cases where the control has failed, then the remedial law applies, compensation. So very many workers don't have access to these pieces of law. They don't know even the basics. They cannot even define what an industrial accident is. They cannot define an industrial disease. And under the circumstances, when they meet these accidents or contract industrial diseases, they don't actually understand what to do. Even in many companies, the managers don't seem to comprehend these laws. They don't even have them, the human resource officers. They don't have these laws. And they are administering over employees who are susceptible to or prone to accidents. And that is where we have a very big challenge. But in these laws, there are provisions for responsibilities of all the tripartite partners. Government has its own function and role in as far as a worker's life is concerned at workplace. Employers have their own roles, the workers' organizations have a role, and the workers themselves have their role. The government, for example, is supposed to put in place the relevant legal framework to protect employees against hazards, and in cases of accidents, there is a law that we have to follow, and those laws are clear. Government is supposed to administer and implement these laws. They do. They have a minister responsible for labor. The laws prescribe the forms that you are supposed to fill in case you get an accident. The laws define what an industrial accident is, and many things. So when it comes to issues of employers, the employers must provide an enabling environment, a workplace environment that subjects employees to the limit, to the most less, the less opportunities for this employee to get into an accident. They have to design their buildings in such a manner that makes it easier for people to avoid accidents. They must do things like, for example, if you are building a flat beyond 2 floors, it is advisable that you must have a lift so that you can help people not to carry loads on the stairs for longer. So there are many things that employers are supposed to do, but basically is they are supposed to take care of their plant, first of all, the factory, the workplace itself. It must be designed in such a manner that it will try to avoid or limit the number of accidents that could be caused arising from the design of the plant. And they are also supposed, all the stakeholders are supposed to inform, train workers on occupational safety and health issues. Likewise, for the workers' organization, same things, though they differ in one way or the other. We have to offer leadership, we have to offer representation, we have to offer training to the workers in cases of accidents. What do they do? So every organization, every party in the organization has an obligation, but it also has to go to people who supply, because we looked at the different types of or categories of hazards.
Hazards, yes.
Some of the hazards are introduced to the workplaces by suppliers. If you supply chemicals that are either not properly labeled, there are chemicals that are used in swimming pools, that chlorine that they use in a swimming pool. If you shake it then open, it bursts like into a fire flame. So there must be proper labels on the supplies that you provide to the company. So even the supplier has a responsibility. If you supply chemicals that are expired, they are going to cause injury and or disease to the people applying these chemicals. So there are a number of things that we need to focus on when dealing with people's lives. It's not prudent, it's not logical for anybody to claim that because there is unemployment in Uganda, so people shouldn't bother about occupational safety and health. We have another topic which speaks about the attributes of good occupational safety and health in the workplace, how it impacts the business. If you are this business where workers are dying of accidents every time, at one point in time, you may look for workers and you can't find them.
Definitely.
Because people will fear. And if even the customers may fear taking or consuming your products. If every month they are hearing that sugar factory has lost an employee,
yes.
that a human being fell into the machine that produces sugar, do you think people will be happy to consume your product?
Definitely
So
not.
it
You'll
is
have to
very
invest so much
prudent that you do the right thing
Yes, yes.
to avoid accidents in your workplace.
Now, Moses, you've talked about the various areas where accidents can occur and why it is very important to prevent them. But now I want us to handle the most critical role here, most critical part that many workers there are undergoing. That is litigation and seeking justice. Today, when you go to, most of the hazards we've talked about here have occurred on very many workers in workplaces out there.
On a daily basis.
Daily basis. But one of the things that has happened is some have just lost their jobs like that. Others have tried. I remember some years back, we even saw someone who had to come and demonstrate in front of a gate of a certain industry where he lost, I think, was it an arm or something like that. When you talk about, not to be specific, the sugar factories, but not a particular sugar factory I want to mention. So these are things that happen on the daily. But why do we see that justice is very, very minimal? If you are to talk about damage at workplaces, people who have lost body parts at workplaces. If you talk about people who have contracted diseases, sound pollution alone. Some people tell you're talking to them, at the end of the day, the working environment had an impact on them.
Definitely.
So why is it so hard to successfully prosecute the employers, to successfully find justice or compensation or things like that? You see, they will tell you this one was not a worker here. But when you ask the colleagues as a just doing an interview or a report, they tell you, no, I mean, I have worked here for 5 years, I found this person here. But they tell you, no, let him prove he's a worker here. The poor man has been getting salary, there is an account, there is evidence, but he doesn't have a letter, a contract. So how do we help? Because the people watching us, now we've informed them, they are waiting for how do they get justice, which is very hard or next to impossible.
One thing is that the level of implementation of the existing laws is quite wanting. And it begins from organizations or workplaces which do not recognize unions. For the organizations where unions operate, it is more easier for this person to get compensation in case she gets an injury or an accident. Because the union will help you follow up, and the union understands the procedures. But these ordinary workers working for an Indian who does not even know that this law exists, but he has formed or created his factory somewhere, when you get into an accident, it is very difficult that you'll get compensation. But some of them we advise, if you are not a union member, then go to the labor officer, the district labor officer, and report the accident. You know, it is very important that even in the law prescribes how to report an industry accident. Sometimes many people lose compensation because they did not report their accidents in accordance with the requirements of the law. And it is because people do not have knowledge about these laws. For our members, I have written a book summarizing the two laws, the preventive and the remedial law, to guide workers on how they can access justice in cases of occupational safety and health issues. Basic information to train them, to teach them what they should know at the workplace, how they should treat them or behave in the workplace in a way to avoid industry accidents. And in case industry accidents do happen, you must know how to define an industry accident You must know how to define an industrial disease. You must also have to know what are the hazards that can cause harm to my life or to my health. So when you have this information, it becomes a little bit easier to avoid accidents, and also when it happens, because it is inevitable, then you must know the process of how to report an accident. When an accident occurs, you expect three things. One is death. Two is survival with severe injuries, or survival with minimal injuries. And all the three states leave you in a different kind of situation. If you have died, you can't report an accident. Those in the surrounding should report. And it is the obligation of the company and the workers' representatives to help you through that process. If you have sustained serious injuries, definitely you'll be rushed for medical care. So you cannot be the one to report. But the law requires that you should report under normal circumstances in 14 days after the occurrence of the accident. Under normal circumstances, they also require that there should be a police inspection of the accident. Because some accidents turn out to be diseases. So if you do not report, it becomes difficult for you or for the medical practitioner to justify that the disease you are suffering is the result of an accident. So there are so many things in the law, and all these things are written in the law. So I just want to implore people to access the laws and read and understand. Where they can't, then run to a union for assistance, run to the district labor officer for assistance in case you get an accident. However, the other thing is that workers who have some little information about accidents, they assume that every accident is compensatable.
Yes.
It is not the fact. No. Not every accident is compensatable.
Oh.
Yes. Because what is compensation?
Okay.
Compensation is paid to you to compensate the degree of damage, incapacitation the accident has caused your life.
Okay.
So if you get a scratch or a small cut on the hand and you bleed, it does not mean that you are going to be compensated. Because at the end of the treatment, even if they assessed you, you will have lost 0.00001 of your capacity to offer labor or to work. So that is what people sometimes don't also understand. Every accident, somebody is expecting compensation.
Compensation, yes.
And compensation is also against your salary. One may get a small injury and he gets 20 million. For you, you die and you get 2 million. Yes. Compensation is done in a computed. Compensation is computed against the salary you earn. And for total incapacitation, you earn 60 salaries.
Okay. If you're not able to work again.
Yeah. You are totally incapacitated or die.
You earn 60 salaries.
60 salaries.
Gross? Oh.
No, basic.
Okay.
Because your gross might include things to do with overtime and allowances. No, they compensation. I mean, they compute compensation depending on your basic salary.
Okay.
So these are some of the things people need to understand.
Yes.
And the degree of incapacitation, if you lose a finger, the small one, the compensation is smaller than when you lose the second finger. The compensation, and those dynamics are there.
Maoko, help me. Let's agree on one thing. We shall have a day. I'll host you again.
Please.
And we discuss how compensation
is done.
Now, you mentioned something very critical. You said for those in unions, it is very easy.
Because we understand some of these.
Because we understand. Those who are not. But there's something that triggered me. Is being in a union a right, or does it have restrictions? Because many organizations, when you mention your union things, Moses, if it is my factory and you tell me the workers are going to get unionized, I will expel them, because people believe unions is almost another opposition in your company, at a workplace. Even when you look at the history of trade unions, you know, both in Uganda and when you, even wherever unions began from, those guys in cotton who said enough is enough, then those that were killed, then that day was earmarked. So trade unions maybe takes a person who owns his own entity a lot of knowledge to allow the workers form a union. So if that is the quickest way to be helped, yet many bosses don't allow these things in their workplaces. So is it constitutional? Is it at the will that you have to convince your boss to form a union or belong to a union? Because many don't like unions, I'm sorry to say.
My brother Chiravo, you know, I've always talked about these issues. Workers' rights are human rights.
Yes.
And human rights are God-given. In the same way, most of the workers' rights are God-given. The right to freedom of association is enshrined in the international standards, the International Labour Organization Convention 87. The right to collective bargaining is also enshrined in ILO Convention, Convention 98. The right to safe working conditions is also enshrined in the same convention, Convention 155 of the International Labour Organization. And all the three are among the 9 core conventions that are a must in all member states of United Nations and ILO. There are 9 core conventions out of 190. The 9 are core. They must be observed by all states that are members to ILO. Uganda is one of them.
International Labour Organization.
Yes, Uganda is one of them. For a long time, under the circumstances, it is not by choice. Here we have the National Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995 as amended. Article 29 and 40 provide directly for the freedom and liberty for workers to join unions or form unions of their choice. Trade unions were formed in Uganda in 1937 for that purpose. And we also function by an act of parliament, the Labour Unions Act. Cap 2, they have just changed some of these things. You know, so what we are doing is a lawful exercise.
Okay.
It is a right enshrined in the national constitution and in the laws of Uganda. Those who are objecting to recognition of unions are only abrogating the laws of this land. It's not that they have a right to choose whether to agree to unions or not. They are only in total abrogation of the laws. And I want to implore people to just appreciate that the laws provide for freedom of association, including the freedom for workers to join or form unions. And they should allow them to exercise their rights. And in exercising their rights, they help the employer want to be compliant with the with the laws of Uganda. They help the union, the workers to bridge that gap between the employee and the bosses.
Okay.
We bring about collective bargaining as a process that brings together these people to agree on the terms and conditions under which they relate. All these are benefits that accrue to the employer, even more than the employee.
Yes.
It's out of ignorance that some people still think that working with trade unions is a bad thing. It is not. And organizations that are excelling here, they work with trade unions, and they even are more profitable than those that are not working with trade unions. Negotiating a salary or other terms of employment is just motivating these people to work even better. You get? Because they have a sense of belonging. with this organization. They are expecting that our terms shall be formally negotiated. You get? Unlike where you come and you know you are earning one salary for 20 years. That is the salary you accepted. You cannot subject it to a negotiation. If they are to increase your salary, if you are a woman, then you must do certain things. Those ones that you talked about. If you go there and ask for salary every year, they will say this one is a wiseacre. Stop this person. You know? A person to work more productively must be motivated by the organization. And yet, on the other side, the laws are saying these people have the right to negotiate their terms and conditions of employment through their unions that represent them. So where is the harm?
Definitely there would be no harm if you have collective bargaining and ensuring that we all have enough knowledge regarding trade unions so that the workers benefit, but also the employer benefits, because when the workers are motivated, when the workers
is high,
are assured of safety, the productivity is definitely high. They have the zeal and they will work and deliver more effectively compared to when they have so much. They come, they are sick, they have come to work psychologically. We talked about the hazards, psychologically disturbed as well.
Definitely, yeah.
So it may be very hard for them to give you the best. But still looking at our topic of the day, that is promoting safety at workplaces. Now, we've talked about government, we've talked about the employers. But
Yes, please.
Moses, given your experience in the labor arena for so long, do you think Ugandans mind about safety, their safety at work, or it's all about the job, getting a job, getting something to take home, and this has also impacted greatly on where we are today?
I want to believe that Ugandans mind about their safety. Because, yeah, it is true, because when these people, when any employee is sick, she will definitely inform the employer that I'm not able to work today because I'm sick. The only problem that arises is that when you are this person who is not a union member, the moment you inform your employer, today I can't be able to work because I'm sick, you won't get paid for that day. But when we do collective bargaining, we make sure that it is incorporated, I mean, it is indicated in the agreement that when an employee is absent from duty for reasons of sickness, this person should not be denied pay. And we even have, even in the law, in the Employment Act, it provides that an employee can be sick for at least 60 days when that person is still on the payroll. It does not arise 2 months. It does not arise mostly in the places where there are no unions. When you are out of employment for even 1 day, you won't be paid. So that is why I continue encouraging workers to get to their senses. Look for the unions that operate within their trades and participate to make life better at workplace. You get? So people know, if you get injured, they will now begin looking for information.
Yes.
I have an injury, I'm expecting compensation. Some of them are not even treated. The law provides that when a worker is injured through an industry accident, that is also defined as any accident or injury that you meet 1 hour before you reach work, but en route work. That accident that you meet while in employment, and the accident you meet after signing off, but going back home, 60 minutes.
That is 1 hour from your workplace.
To workplace, during workplace, and 1 hour after workplace, and not home. Any accident that.
So if I'm coming to work,
and a border knocks you, you have met an industry accident.
If I've left my workplace and I'm going back home,
Makindye,
yes,
and you meet an accident, that is an industrial accident, and the company is supposed to treat you until you heal or die. And the company is not the one which is going to pay, because you are in the first instance meant to be insured for life by the employer. So the company may give you money for treatment, but it will recover this money from the insurance, while you will also be compensated by the insurance. You get? So these are some of the things we people as working class need to understand.
Moses,
Very many people get industrial accidents, and they say that accident was not.
Yeah, he wasn't at work.
He was not at work. But you were from work going home, or you were coming from home to come and report.
Moses, we really have so much to let the public know, but I must let you go. So let me just have your parting shot. In the interest of time, please.
Well, my parting shot is I want to thank Ugandans for listening to us each time we are here. I also want to continuously encourage workers, wherever they are, to join and belong to trade unions of their choices within their categories, and also inform Ugandan workers that we are in the bid, or we are in the season of elections, and we are going to elect our leaders at different levels. Make the best choices.
I'm told
not only those people that have money, but make choices for people who are going to represent our interests, even when they do not have a lot of money.
I'm told that is an election where those league, workers' league, he who has money has the vote.
It is not workers' league. It is the national phenomenon today. It's elections in Uganda have become.
But you see there, you have so
if
few
you don't
people,
have money, don't even attempt.
Few. You calculate who they are paying.
And I don't know where it is going to take us, because there are so many bad things happening. There is very low productivity. When you go to these public offices, ministers who are also campaigning, they are not doing anything for government. They are virtually doing their own personal things in the government ministries, and they are earning money, salaries, but they are not working. They are actually politicking in government offices. But I don't know whether government needs to do something about this whole thing. The elections are everywhere. Everybody is engaged in, it is either the person giving money or the other one running around to receive that money. So it is posturing a very bad situation for us going forward. Money has become a very huge aspect in politics, and we're not choosing leaders. We are choosing people who have money to represent us. So I am a little bit unhappy about the whole thing. But I cannot make decisions.
Make money, then of course you sail through very quickly, because that's what most of our voters are now focusing on. Thank you so much, Moses. It was really so much of learning, and I believe every worker must interest themselves to learn and also be part of a union of their choice that matches what they are doing. Have the best of your day. Behind the headlines is next a recap of what transpired yesterday. God bless you. God bless Uganda.